Back in the 70s, getting dressed wasn't just about clothes. It was about making a statement. Whether you were heading to school, work, or the disco, your outfit said something about your style, your spirit, and maybe how long you spent ironing those collars. It was bold, it was fun, and it was unlike anything before or since. Today, we're taking a walk back through the closet to remember 10 clothing styles from the 1970s that just disappeared. Let's take a look. 1. Bell bottoms, the pants that danced. If there's one piece of clothing that screams the 70s, it's bell bottoms. Wide at the ankle, tight at the thigh, they moved when you did. And boy, did people love to move. They started with sailors, believe it or not, but once rock stars and hippies picked them up, they were everywhere. Blue jeans, cords, even wild prints. Everyone had a pair. But by the time the 80s rolled in, fashion took a sharper turn. Skinny and straight-legged pants pushed bell-bottoms into the back of the closet, where they stayed. 2. The leisure suit, Sunday's best every day. The leisure suit was a man's ticket to cool. 2 pieces, same color, usually polyester, and made it look like you put an effort, even when you didn't. You'd see them in tans, olives, and baby blues, wide lapels, flared pants, and maybe a gold chain to finish the look. You could wear one to the office or to a backyard barbecue. But by the early 80s, these suits started feeling more like punchlines and power moves. And just like that, they vanished. 3. Tie-dye, the shirt that said peace. Tie-dye was more than a shirt. It was a mood. Bright, messy, and full of personality. Every swirl of color felt like a little rebellion wrapped in cotton. Kids made them at camp. Grown-ups wore them to festivals. It felt like sunshine you could wear. But once the 70s faded, so did the rainbow. People wanted sleek, simple, and clean, and tie-dye was none of those things. 4. Peasant blouses, soft, flowery, free. Peasant blouses were breezy, flowy, and just a little romantic. With puffy sleeves and pretty embroidery, they were the opposite of stiff and formal. You'd see them at farmers markets, coffee shops, or hanging out in the park. They were comfy, natural, perfect for that back-to-the-earth vibe folks loved back then. But as fashion moved towards sharper lines and city style, these soft little blouses quietly floated away. 5. Platform shoes, standing tall, even at the roller rink. Platform shoes were big, literally. Men and women both wore them, adding 2 or 3 inches to their height, without a care in the world. They came in wild styles, glitter, velvet, even animal prints. You wore them to parties, discos, and sometimes just the grocery store. Eventually, people realized they weren't the easiest to walk in. The twisted ankles added up, and by the early 80s, platforms took their final bow. 6. Giant collars, because small wasn't cool. In the 70s, your shirt collar wasn't just a part of your outfit. It was a feature, long, pointed, and usually hanging over your jacket lapels like wings. It said you had flair. It said you had confidence. Bonus points if it peeked out over a colorful vest. But as the disco era dimmed, so did the size of our collars. They got smaller and never really came back. 7. Halter tops, the backless summer favorite. If you were soaking up the sun in the 70s, you were probably wearing a halter top, tied at the neck, back open to breeze. It was the ultimate warm weather look. Girls wore them to roller rinks and summer fairs. You'd pair it with bell bottoms or a long, flowy skirt. But fashions change, and this bare shoulder style eventually felt too revealing for everyday wear. So it slipped away like a summer memory. 8. Denim overload, not just jeans. Back then, denim wasn't just for pants. It was for jackets, skirts, overalls, and even full jumpsuits. People wore denim head to toe and meant it. It was tough, stylish, and American to the core. You could dress it up, dress it down, and wear it until it faded into soft perfection. But by the 80s, people started craving variety. Too much denim started to look, well, like too much. 9. Crocheted clothes like grandma, but cool. Crochet wasn't just something grandma did in her rocking chair. It was fashion. Handmade tops, vests, and even swimsuits popped up everywhere. It had that homemade charm, with bright yarn and bold patterns. You felt like you were wearing something truly one of a kind. But the fast-paced world of mass production caught up, and hand-stitched charm took a back seat to sleek, store-bought styles. 10. Corduroy pants, the swish of fall. Corduroy pants were thick, cozy, and came in every fall color you could imagine. Rust, forest green, deep burgundy. They were warm and had that signature swish-swish when you walked. Kids wore them to school. Teachers wore them to class, and they somehow made you feel put together without being stiff. But thinner fabrics took over in the 80s, and corduroy just felt too heavy. Still, a part of us misses that sound. Clothes come and go, but the memories? Those stay forever. The 1970s had a style all its own, bold, colorful, and full of personality. Did you wear any of these? Or maybe you've seen old family photos where someone's rocking platforms or a massive collar. Let us know down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this little stroll through time, be sure to like, subscribe, and keep rewinding with us. This is Old Soul America. Thanks for watching. See you next time.